Lucky was much more than lucky. He was great. Nothing but net. Even though this isn't our house, we'll have none of that. Make that final push for the wall as you pin your hopes on Cardinal sports. And make sure you always stick with us. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. That was one of the classics with the basketball.
Well, that game,
just that game in general, but yeah,
so many things.
Topped it off, though.
That was, and I think that was, we were already in overtime when that happened.
Yep.
I mean, it just that's not supposed to happen.
No, not at all.
And especially in overtime. But we'll get to that much later. We start the show talking about all the state tournament action. 8 Cardinals had their opportunity to compete for state championships last weekend. Very exciting.
Very exciting. And you know, unfortunately, we didn't get a camera there last week, but we were able to get one this week and able to see all the action, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we start with wrestling. The Cardinals sent 4 wrestlers to the X last weekend for the state tournament, 2 as section champions and 2 more as runners-up. All had high hopes of claiming the crown. All of them also knew this wouldn't be their last chance. All 4 state qualifiers are juniors, and all will be back again next fall. Great atmosphere at the XL Energy Center. A lot of energy in the building. We start with Dalen Jones' opening round match against Adam Aldammer of Wayzata. And this one is over in just 11 seconds. The lightning fast pin for Jones was his highlight. He lost his next 2. Moved to 160, Demetrius Seals in a consolation quarterfinal. Great ankle pick on Apple Valley's Dylan Anderson, but Seals loses a 7-3 decision. He's 1-2 in the tournament with a pin. Alex Kowalczyk at state for the 2nd straight season. He was 1-done last year. This year he starts with a pin on Egan's Noah Kipp late in the 2nd period. Kowalczyk won his first 2 matches and finished on the podium in 6th place at 145 pounds. Heavyweight Gavin Layton entered the tournament undefeated and ranked number 1. He pinned his way through the section tournament. A little tougher competition at state. Layton gets takedown right there for a 7-3 decision in the first round. He got a pin to get to the championships against Waconia's Bennett Weber. Gets a single leg takedown. Layton trying to roll Weber over late in the first period, but he gets caught. And Weber able to get turned and go chest to chest. He gets the pin with 1 second left in the first period. Layton's only loss of the year comes in the state championship against a guy that he beat in 2 championship matches earlier in the year, both at the Minnesota Christmas Tournament and the Rumble on the Red. He had beaten Bennett in those championship matches, but in close decisions. And here it is. He's the dominant wrestler and gets caught in the final seconds of the first period.
He did get caught, and you come into that situation undefeated, and you think in your head, obviously you got to wrestle, and you got to wrestle well. But thinking that I'm going to get this done, I'm going to go undefeated, and I'm going to win the state tournament, and I'm sure that was a huge disappointment. I mean, finishing second is certainly excellent. No, there's no question about that. But the fact that he kind of got caught, as you mentioned, in something that a move that he probably wouldn't make, and he got caught, and he got turned, and he got pinned, and that's unfortunate.
And it will serve as motivation. He's got another year ahead of him, as do the other 3 state entrants. The 6th place finish for Kowalczyk. He'll be looking for his 3rd straight trip. The other 2, I'm sure, will also be gunning to get back there again next year.
Well, congrats to all the guys. Well, there are 4 Cardinal swimmers competing at last week's state championships, and all 4 of them will be back next year as well. Sophomore Tyler Schultz qualified for state in 2 individual events for the 2nd straight season. Junior Nick Melsha competed in the 500 free, and both of them were part of the medley team that qualified with a school record time at sections. Relay starts with junior Matt Struess. Schultz and Melsha are in the middle, and freshman Abba Mayanja is the anchor. And they go even faster at prelims to qualify for day 2. They took almost a full second of their time from sections in the consolation final, but a DQ cost them a possible 12th place finish. More on that in a little bit. Tyler Schultz made it to state in 2 events as a freshman. You're going to see coming up here as a sophomore, and he qualifies for 2 different individual events. This year he advances to the finals in both. The 200 IM, Schultz finishes 13th in the finals with a time of 1:56.52. All the Cardinals at state qualified for day 2 of the meet. Junior Nick Melsha was the final qualifier in the 500 freestyle, and he added a few seconds in the consolation final. He improves his position to 14th with a time of 4:51.07. Schultz again, he set a school record in the 100 breaststroke at sections. He's not able to quite match that pace at state, but he has the 11th best finish in prelims and finishes 14th at state with a time of 58.89.
Yeah, definitely admirable. So they set the school record at sections.
They did.
With that medley relay. Took almost a half second off it with their prelim time.
They did.
And then trimmed almost another half second in the final, but they were DQ'd by 1/100th of a second on one of the relays. Somebody coming off the wall just a little bit early.
Unfortunate.
And Coach Doug Donaldson says, that would have been the state time, and more importantly, the two guys who had individual events later in the day, obviously affected by that.
Sure,
if you
of course.
win it, you finish better, you're all fired up. If you get that finish with the school record time and probably a 12th place finish, but you didn't, so now you're on the other end of it, and they were maybe battling through some of that going into their individual events. But look at Tyler Schultz. I mean, last year he was qualified in the butterfly, and I believe it was the 200 free. This year he's in the IM and the breaststroke. He's just a sophomore. He's already set the school breaststroke record, part of that team that set the 200 medley relay record, and all of them are coming back. Two of them will be seniors from that medley relay team. He'll be a junior. Abba Mayanja, just a freshman, so he'll only be a sophomore next year. A lot of great things, and you look, and Jack Simmer just narrowly missed making it to diving as in his second year, would have been his second straight year. So they've got him, still a former state qualifier. They should be fun to watch next year.
They should, and we talk all of the time about how improving your times and some of the, especially in swimming, where there's a lot of younger athletes that participate. I mean, that's great for this program, and hopefully, as you'll see, they'll improve and it'll be fun to watch next year. But hopefully, more kids will come out for the program, seeing the success that these guys have.
First time they've qualified. Everyone who qualified got to the second round for the first time in almost 20 years. It's the best team score at state since 2001. So a lot to be proud of, but it still leaves room for improvement, and it'll be interesting to see what they can accomplish next season. The girls basketball team's surprising upset over Blaine in the regular season finale cost the Bengals the top seed in the section bracket. It also meant the two would meet again in the section quarterfinals. Victory gave the Cardinals some confidence going into the postseason, but the loss also fired up the Bengals. If the Cardinals hope to pull off another big upset, they'd need to match the intensity the Bengals were sure to bring. Blaine starts fast. Anna Garfield had a couple of early three-pointers to help the Bengals to a 13-0 start. The Cardinals didn't score until almost 6 minutes in. Jenny and Tomway cleaning up the glass off the miss by Henneman, and the Cards actually outscore the Bengals for the next 10 minutes. A couple of big perimeter shots by Sid Kerr helped the Cardinals whittle into that lead, and they used their size inside as well. Good passing to find Ella Georgie underneath. Coon Rapids within 8 at 26-18. But Blaine scores the last 8 points of the half. Kayla Bohr weaving her way to the rim. She had a huge game, and the Bengals are up 16 at the half. Bengals keep their foot on the gas into the second. Madison Haney with the steal and the bucket on the breakaway. That made it a 20-point lead. Cardinals never really able to threaten again. Georgie and Tomway each had a team-high 12, but the season ends at Blaine. Bengals get 28 from Kayla Bohr. Haney had all of her 9 points in the second half as Blaine cruises to the 63-43 win.
Yeah, I mean, you look coming into that game. I mean, that Friday night win at home for the Cardinals over the Bengals was really their biggest game of the year, quite obviously. To say that they struggled, it's an understatement this year. But for them to get that win, they had a lot of momentum. But I'm wondering if it's just that was their buildup, and then they came in and Blaine really took over. Blaine said, we're not going to play the way we did. We're going to learn from the mistakes we made in that loss, and they took advantage of that.
They did. And that meant they moved on. But look at what happened in the next round.
Crazy talk.
Top 2 seeds bumped out in the semifinals. Cambridge with an upset over Andover, the number 1 seed, and Forest Lake downs the Bengals 69-67. The 3 and 4 seeds meeting for the Section 7 4A championship.
That's I looked in the paper to see who won. I was surprised, obviously, by both the contests because I thought for sure it was going to be an Andover-Blaine matchup. And and that's what this is all about.
Could have been, but a lot of sections, especially both of the Cardinal sections for basketball, are sections where anybody can win.
You bet. Well, the boys basketball team closed out its regular season schedule on Friday, hosting new conference rival Rogers. The Royals and the Cardinals had similar records, and both were looking to head into the postseason with a win. The first ever meeting between the two turned into yet another instant classic for CTN. Senior night at the Fieldhouse, last time for these Cardinals on their home court. But it's the Royals that set the scoring pace in the first half. Thomas Glad in the corner hits a 3 to put Rogers in front by 7 early on. Their big gun had a big night. Well, Cardinals never letting the deficit get too big. Great pass from Elmy to Jaden Palmer underneath. He gets the bucket and the foul. 3-point play makes it a 2-point game midway through the first. Rogers stretched their lead to 8, but the Cardinals come back to make it a 1-point game before the break. 33-32 Royals going into the locker room. Well, the Cardinals are trying to turn the tides early in the second. Good passing to get Joseph Tarnu an open look in close. Nice job there. But the momentum really shifted when Lucky became the star in the second half. Morange was just held to 2 points in the first half. He catches fire in the second, hitting 5 3-pointers that helped the Cardinals capture the lead midway through. Lucky put up a season-high 25 points. Just was feeling it from all over the court. Cardinals were up 10 with 3 minutes left. Then the Royals answered with some long-distance drama of their own. Right after Glad hit a 3-pointer, the Royals defense forces a turnover, and they're going to find Sam Simpson for another basket. As you can see the turnover there, and Sampson is going to hit one there, and he's going to hit one from beyond the arc to tie it with 20 seconds left. Final seconds of regulation, Cardinals find Jordan Doe with open look from the corner, but it's hard off the iron, and the Royals recover the rebound, get down court quickly to give Simpson a chance for the win. That's off the mark as well, and we're headed to overtime. That was a close one there, just couldn't drop it. One extra period, well, that wasn't enough. Final seconds, Aloro with a miss for Rogers. Cardinals get the rebound, heave a player from 3-quarter shot that bounces off the backboard. See there, close one there as well. So we're going to go second straight game that goes to double overtime. Rogers getting themselves in front early. Glad hits the hook shot, part of a game-high 29 points for him. Cardinals answer with a great drive by Lucky, left-handed layup, and we're all tied up at 77. Final seconds of overtime number 2 coming up here. Coon Rapids down by 2. Jordan Doe able to find a seam, get to the basket. Shot doesn't fall, but he's fouled as time expires. So Doe going to go with a chance to tie from the line. First one just a little bit long, so you're going to see here. The Royals escape with a win, a double overtime heartbreak for the home team. 81-79 the final. That was a tough loss. You know, they're up by 10 with 3 minutes left in the regulation, and unfortunately couldn't hold that lead.
Even in the loss, it was fun to be a part of.
It was so much fun.
And the ball stopping on the middle of the backboard just kind of meant crazy things were happening that
We
night.
had all kind of things going on. We had the coaches going at each other. And,
a little bit of sniffing back and forth.
And a little bit of a look from Coach O that was pretty cool.
It sets up the Cardinals to go into the bracket against a team they just beat in double overtime. The Andover Huskies, the number 3 seed, will host the Cardinals in the first round on Wednesday. And Howie,
we'll be there.
Cambridge gets the number 1 seed, and the Duluth East, number 2, will host Anoka, and number 4, Forest Lake, will take on Blaine. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.